Hi guys, and welcome to the new video. For those of you new to the channel, I'm Mike in my mid-40s, riding Enduro out here in beautiful Tuscany and taking you along my mountain biking and YouTube journey. And today I'm out here with my very new upgrade, the E13 Grappler wheel with the Sidekick hub, which is supposed to reduce pedal kickback. And I will let you know how this wheel works for me in my first ride impressions and give you a little bit of background on what it actually does and how it's supposed to work and why I got it. Although I have a Forbidden Druid, which is a high pivot bike, which supposedly has no to little pedal kickback. So far, the feeling is even just a little bit detached. I wonder if my rear shock is locked. No, it's not. Wow. This hub is incredible, actually. Why this Sidekick hub? Why this construction to reduce pedal kickback? Well, for the most of you will know it. For those of you who don't, just really quick, pedal kickback is created when your bike goes through its travel, so the suspension compresses and your rear wheel starts moving. So with this construction, with the Druid high pivot construction, the rear wheel has a rear rolled axle pass. That means when the suspension compresses, this point wanders a little bit up and back. And naturally the point between where the chain is on the cassette and on this idler here, it does not always remain the same. So the distance between the two varies, depends on where you are in your travel, and it also depends on which gear you're using, because obviously there's a different distance. In your normal 4-bar horse-link suspension or other suspension systems, your chain will be here on the chain ring, and the distance between this point and this point varies ever so greatly than with this construction. So here I'm already very blessed by very low pedal kickbacks in faster gears. But there's still, however, a little bit of pedal kickback, or at least I think to perceive a little bit of kickback. And that's why I got this hub to reduce the kickback. And how it does it? By delaying the engagement in some percentage point. So you see here, I'm moving the pedal and I have a little bit of play before it engages. And it varies between the low and the highest gear. I will show it to you. So I'm now in the easiest gear, and you can see that this is the dead zone. So the dead zone is quite pronounced. And when I skip now in the smallest gear, it is quite low, and I'm already in the next engagement point. So it's noticeably different. I promised myself from this to be like perfect match for the Druid. Also, this whole wheel, this whole Grappler, Enduro, aluminium, whatever, wherever you're from, 29-inch wheel weighs 1 kilo with the Sidekick hub. And this is pretty much exactly the same weight I had with my Ibis Blackbird Cent 2 wheel, which was an amazing wheel, super durable, but a little bit on the heavy side. So I'm not losing any, or I'm not gaining any weight on my rear wheel. And on contrary, if I would have gotten an O chain, I would have sacrificed at least 130 grams of extra weight here. And so for me, this seems to be the smarter solution for this particular bike. And let's see if it does make a difference out on the trails. Let's go. The first thing you notice, you don't hear the rear hub. What I find pretty amazing is how I can hear the tires zoom on the ground. And this is cool, eh? I didn't even know, to be honest, how much pedal kickback I was experiencing. I thought that with this high pivot construction I'm completely safe from the pedal kickback, but I was not. I mean, I saw it on paper, but I was like, hey, that's minimal, but it's a big difference. I can tell you now already that I'm in love with this rear wheel. This video, by the way, is not sponsored, and I paid quite a bit of money for this rear wheel, although I got it on a Black Friday super sale. And that's it for this little piece of first trail. Quite ideal to test it with some little jumps, some trail chatter and some berms. It's a completely decoupled feeling, and yeah, it's pretty cool. So the first little downhill on the new hub was quite incredible. It gives a completely decoupled feel. I'm really in love with it because I can really feel my shock working. And now I will probably have to tweak my rebound and damping settings, because now I can really feel the shocks damping at work. And before it was kind of, let's say, cluttered with this pedal kickback maybe, and it's really cool. I mean, I have not expected it to be this pronounced. But I was in the middle gear. So now on the next run I will shift some gears down and see if this sensation is the same or not. And with us here, when we're riding with the group, we have a continuous thing going on that we're reminding ourselves to unlock the shock before the descent, because I tend to forget it. And with this kickback hub, it gives me this little like additional travel damping or additional shock sensation. Then it's more even easier for me now to forget to unlock the shock, because when having the first feel on the pedals, this is like the first centimeters of travel, and this is the thing I have to keep an eye out on, not to forget to unlock my shock even more than before. Anyway, very, very cool product so far. I'm really enjoying it. Let's hit the next trail. Alright, party people, the next trail is our Stinky Classic. I still don't know why it's called Classic, but I guess because it's a classy trail, so, and maybe it's kind of classic, I don't know. Yeah! This trail has quite a lot of chatter, and a little bit slippery today. Ah, fuck, now I'm all dirty. Great. Ooh, and it's also posing some tasks for me. Sheesh. Now, this hub is cool, eh? This was a great acquisition. I should have gotten no, much earlier. It would not be possible, because I think it just came out not too long ago. I mean, not just, but it's not a thing that has been around forever. Yeah, probably, but with everything I will get used to it in no time, and then this great effect will be gone. But today it feels like a little bit like a new bike day, maybe even additional travel. Yeah, this is a very chattery piece of trail. Oh, I hit it way too fast. Yeah, I do. No pedal kickback on that hard case on the bridge. I can get used to this. Now I have to pedal here, and this engagement was not a problem. But while I'm pedaling here, let's talk about uphill for a second, because nothing comes without a price. So how does it climb? Obviously there are levels to this. When you simply pedal up a nice fire road, you won't notice a difference, because you're always engaging your drivetrain. But the moment you have to pause, like on a very technical piece of climb, you will notice these let's say kickback dead zone. And the greater the benefit, the greater the trade-off, as always in biking. You cannot have it all, unfortunately. Yet, maybe. Who knows what the future brings. it doesn't stop me from pedaling whatever I need to pedal here. And Castagneto Carducci here has some of the steepest climbs that I personally am able to do on my normal bike. And I don't ride alpine terrain so much, so for me this is not an issue at all, at least on my first ride out. Let's see what the time will show. There is 3 different settings on this hub that you can change quite easily by taking out the wheel, unscrewing one side of the axle and just swapping it around. And there are three settings for different amount of, let's say, kickback protection or kickback relief. And I'm on the max setting because I want to have the idea of its max potential, and probably going forward I shall experiment with the different settings. But as mentioned on the climbs, I don't do too techy stuff on the climbs, so why not have it on the max setting? Here getting well battered here, and now even my super plush Formula fork feels a little bit more stiff than the short travel rear end, which has only 130 mils of travel compared to the forks 150 in this current setting. There's 3 on the exit of the turn. This is a notice now. When exiting the turn and pedaling out of the turn, this is where I notice the dead zone. Okay, also here the engage is late, so this is where it makes sense to have a faster gear or less of the kickback system. If you're pedaling out a lot from these corners, which I'm not racing, but if you're racing, then I might understand why O-chain might be the better choice for you. This is a nice feature. You can hear all the bumps and stuff. Another thing worth talking about before the trail ends is my bottom bracket clearance. So I have a very low bottom bracket on the Druid, which is really cool, and I have 170 mil cranks as well because the pedals are hard, but this makes me very prone to pedal strikes. And with this late engagement, especially in the climbing gears, you spin quite a lot before engaging, so misjudging an additional crank on the trail can lead to a higher danger of pedal strikes. Have just to keep that in mind. And trail is over. Bello, guys. This trail has everything. It's 2 kilometer something trail, and this rear wheel, this rear hub particularly, has been a great upgrade today. It's really surprising how much of a difference it makes even on a high pivot bike. No, it's really true. It's true. And I have give kudos on this point to Karl from MTB Trail Shredders. Cheers, Karl. I'll link his channel on the top right hand corner. Make sure to check out his riding. He's in UK, and he has gotten himself this wheel set and told me, hey bro, the same as with the radios, you need to check it out. And I follow good advice, so I checked it out, and I thought, man, I have a high pivot, but is it really worth it? It's a lot of money. And speaking of which, I paid for the rear wheel on a Black Friday deal 333 euros. I think it's okay for a rear wheel. It's aluminum, Enduro aluminum wheel. I'm really curious to see how long this rim will last, because the Ibis Blackbird Sand 2 took everything I threw at it. It was an incredibly stiff, and capable wheel. I'm really in love with this Ibis wheel, but this one has the Sidekick hub. So I have this whole grappler air wheel, and E13 has to prove itself on this Tuscan rough terrain. But the front wheel, I still have an Ibis wheel, but the front wheel from E13, the grappler wheel, was another 190 euro. And for me, it made no sense to pay 200 euro for a front wheel, maybe to save some grams, but and okay, to match the looks. But come on, money doesn't grow on the trees, unfortunately. So guys, the first riding day on the Sidekick hub is in the books, and let me wrap up my experience for you. On the plus side, we have the complete elimination of pedal kickback. It does work like a charm. It's really incredible. And also on the Druid with the high pivot construction, it works insanely well. I feel the suspension working in a whole different way than I have felt ever before. It's really good. The finish of the wheel itself is amazing. I cannot even pinpoint it exactly what makes it good, but just the whole impression from how it is finished is very well. And also there's a nice valve. I like the wheel. It has a nice finish. The hub is really silent. I mean, it's super silent. If you put it like at home and you just spin it, you hear some clicking noises. But out on the trail, all you hear is your tires, your brakes, your suspension, and whatever else. And let's come to the downsides of it. As everything in biking, there is a compromise to be made. So there is some downside to all things. First of what I've noticed, that if you're pedaling out of fast corners or berms or whatever, or slow corners, then there is this dead zone of pedal engagement before you can pedal out. For people racing or chasing times on Strava, this might be a thing. For me, I don't do neither, so for me that's okay, but I notice it. So shall you accelerate out of the corner? There is some lag. Then also on the very steep climbs, or on very technical climbs, where you have to kind of stop, reposition your bike and restart, you will also feel this dead zone. But if you are just continuously pedaling up your fire road, your gravel road, or even a single track, there will be no difference because you're continuously engaging the drivetrain, so that there will be no difference. And also the silent part. It's not only a plus. So if you're like me and you have this tick for some noises, creaking sounds, cracking sounds, so whenever my bike makes some kind of strange noises, it drives me nuts. And this hub is so silent that you will hear everything and more. So at the moment, I am enjoying a very noise-free period on my bike, and I'm really grateful for that. Thanks to Forbidden, my bike mechanics, and maybe God or the universe or whatever you want to believe. But if you do have some cracking sounds from your bearings or from your headset or from your bottom bracket, you will hear that because now the wheel is so silent. And that's it, guys. So should you be interested in my long-term take at this wheel, I will for sure make a video later on. So now it's a great time to subscribe. And should you have found this video entertaining or informative or whatever, hit the like button, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.